One day. I was ready to go.
Already.
Oh,
Yep.
we had us all psyched for that one.
That was gonna be fun.
Chicken's coming.
Oh,
When I
nice.
Chicken
texted
dinner, okay.
everybody, I got some hate mail.
When is the
Yeah,
chicken
yeah.
dinner?
When's the chicken dinner?
Okay,
Oh, nice.
I always come over
Nice.
for that.
It's okay.
Old school.
Dr. Genestri, you'll present.
I will present. Let me get it going here. Yep. Thanks, Don.
Cheers.
Let's see.
Give me 1 second. I know Dr. Janessa is still trying to get it up.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, thank you for waiting patiently. Just want to say that we officially called the meeting to order at 6:09 PM, took the said the Pledge of Allegiance, took roll call, and then moved into executive session to discuss the employment history of a particular employee, a student matter protected by FERPA, and contract negotiations. We adjourned into executive session at 6:10. No action was taken, and we adjourned executive session at 7:04, and now we are starting our general study session. So I do need so approval of the agenda. Do we have any comments on the agenda? We will be approving this next week. Sorry.
18.
Okay, minutes of the previous meeting. Any comments on the previous meeting minutes? We will be approving these next week as well. Okay, communications, we do have one from Harris Beach about
The
the
DEI.
DOJ clarification of unlawful DEI. And there is some new guidance for that. Any
Yeah,
discussion?
I just had a question. What, the new guidance for it, I didn't quite understand what they were putting out there.
I didn't read it.
They're trying to make DEI illegal.
Right.
That's what it comes down to for me.
So
There-
it's my
yeah.
understanding, our state is saying that we're still in the okay to continue to move.
Okay.
Correct.
So
Yeah, at the
that's
state
the-
level, we're good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm,
There's certain actions that they do not want you to take. The federal government would be considered unlawful proxies, which would be basically, in layman's terms, a DEI hire. So you cannot,
Preferential
You-
hiring.
for anything, so you cannot say, oh, we're gonna hire a new teacher and we're gonna hire blank only, which would prevent other people from applying for the position. So things like
Not a
that
practice.
is, that's not a good practice.
yeah, we don't participate.
We
But we don't practice
No.
that anyway.
No. Yeah, I've read through it a couple of times and my thought was they're looking for some gotchas in there, but when I think about what we do, what our DEI committee does,
Mhm.
I don't see anything that we're out of bounds on.
Nothing
Assuming
that's
folks-
red flagged.
Yeah, we're
If-
good.
I read it a few times trying to understand it myself, again, with kind of a clear eye. But they mentioned protected class, simply by making a group a protected class. And their words, I think, is discriminatory. So I think we do have to be a little careful there. I think the remedy or the risk we take, the state takes, is less federal funds for certain things. I don't know how else they enforce their law, but it's interesting. There'll be more discussion on this, I'm sure. And on this conversation, we met Keith Wiley, who is now the 17th regent. And he said all 17 of them are still pro DEI. And again, I think a lot of it is just a definition, all right? I think we'll also talk about our goals next week, which has a piece on DEI. And there's one piece of it that I'm going to suggest we maybe change because I think we got to be careful. That's all I'm saying here. We got to be careful how we approach this, how we're instituting or involving our students in it and our teachers. Well, that's my opinion. But it was an interesting article and it's coming from our attorneys that are telling us, be careful, I think.
Yeah.
Was it Houghton Russ?
No, it was.
No,
Harris Beach.
Harris,
It was Harris Beach.
previous attorney,
We
but
don't
yeah.
use them, but yeah, it is an attorney's group, yes.
But these
Okay.
are based on federally categorized protected characteristics. So the federal government came up with, I think there's like 28 or something protected characteristics that range from race and ethnicity to pregnancy status, age. There's like all different types of things. So
Yep.
the federal government made those up and they have not pulled them back.
Yep.
So I think they've got basically like 4 things that are in this memo that are around hiring practices and that. So
And trainings.
training.
So like
yeah.
you can't, if you're doing the same training, you can't separate according to any of those protected classes. So that's the other thing. So, yeah, that's what's in the new guidance. So. Any other comments on that or any other communications to share? Okay, Dr. Janestri. Oh, sorry.
We had a PTA meeting last night. Able to make that over at
Oh,
Heritage Heights. Are we
Information will be next week.
talk about that next week?
Yep.
Okay. All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Valenti. We have a few topics to discuss. We wanted to, our yearly professional learning plan, present that to the board tonight. The full plan is in your packet for review. And I want to invite up Dr. Wilson, to, present to the board on that.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to discuss our professional learning plan for 2025-26. You see there, the committee, we worked together for the year. So we began this work last year. And we work on different components throughout the year as a committee. So you see we have members that range the entire district. And we spent quite a bit of time unpacking some of the language, specifically in our mentoring program to really make sure we were updating that and responding to our current new teacher needs. Next slide. So the purpose of our professional learning plan, so I wanted to go through and pull out the words that I think jump out at you to improve teaching and learning, to really look at professional learning and professional growth, to stay current with our practices, and then to meet the needs, of course, of our students. So in the professional learning plan, we have some long-standing improvement focus areas. These 6 are the ones that we've been focused on for quite some time. We continue to hone in on them. I'm going to spend some time unpacking each one and giving you some examples of high-level different activities, professional development activities that we offer here in Sweet Home. But you have the full plan that outlines everything, and everything has been linked back to these long standing improvement practices and focus areas. So our plan is, I wanted to come up with this kind of a graphic to help you see how the pieces come together. So New York State priorities come into play, and you'll see that playing out with the culturally responsive and sustaining education framework that is required by New York State. And you'll see our strategic plan gets pulled into that, as well as our district goals, your board goals that then trickle down throughout our district. And so building capacity for instructional priorities, student achievement data, and then always that tech integration. We're always looking to improve our integration of technology into the lives of our students. So this graphic we're just talking about DEI, so here you have it. It's something that's in our strategic plan, but it's really just unpacking the pillars that New York State has laid out for schools across the entire state to focus in on. But I want to hone in on the foundation. You see, the foundation is Leader in Me. It's a very strong foundation for us. You can't really see it on this picture unless you get up really, really close, but each one of those little red pieces is a brick. And the bricks say things like celebrating diversity, CASEL, which is our social emotional learning focus that we have, PBIS, which is our positive behavior focus, addressing bullying, staff engagement, self-directed learning, college and career readiness, positive, safe school culture, mental health, and restorative practices are among those bricks that lay that strong foundation for our house, the district. And you see the strategic plan wrapping around that, giving us that roadmap to where we want to be. So here we have,
I'm sorry, can I ask you one question on, on that foundation? There's the words Common Core are in there. Where is Common Core these days?
so we're shifting Common Core to next generation learning standards. And so you'll see that all throughout our plan. And so it's a continuous shift to critical thinking, critical reading, critical math. And that started with Common Core and it goes even more deeply with next generation. You'll see it in science, you'll see it in every subject.
So it's no longer called Common Core. What is it called?
Next generation learning standards.
Next Generation Learning?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Dr. Wilson, can I
Yes.
ask you a question? Now, this foundation of learning in me, so I'm looking at that foundation, it's kind of there, the same kind of for everybody, yet our schools are not in the same place as that entire brick, I guess is
Yes.
what I'm thinking. You know, elementary school is farther along than our middle school and high school, so our foundation is going to be a little bit different. Yes, am I?
And that makes sense from school to school. Thank you. It's a good question. And so as you look at where we try to meet every school where they are, right? And so the middle school is in a much different place than the high school versus the elementary schools, which are all four. We should be very proud. All four of our elementary schools are now Lighthouse schools, which in the last couple of years, we went from 2 to 4. And we're really striving to push. So the middle school has seen the success of all of our students coming up from our Lighthouse schools and them coming with those strong skills that they've developed in our elementary schools now at the middle school. So they had to respond. So that's that response to what our students need. And you'll see that that will carry through to the high school because we're having those students, of course, shift to high school. So it's a natural progression. And our plan is set up in such a way that we have allowed for the middle school to be in a different place with the amount of professional development they are receiving from custom coaching with Leader in Me from the Franklin Covey organization. And then the high school is right there. Last year, we spent quite a bit of time trying to re-engage the high school, and I think we were successful. We do have some momentum going and we don't want to lose it. So we're going to continue to push on. This year, we will have Lighthouse coordinators identified at the high school also.
So I know as we walk through the elementary schools, I mean, Leader in Me, they've got the well, our middle school and high school, because right now we walk
Absolutely.
through those schools and it's not as evident.
That's our goal. We are striving to be what I have been calling a Lighthouse district. I've asked the Franklin Covey folks, does that
Is that a
exist?
thing?
And they said, well, you know, there are a couple places where the entire district, every school is a Lighthouse school. That's ultimately our goal. So maybe we will be the very first Lighthouse district. So as you look at our professional development, it's in layers. And you look at the district level, there's district level professional development. Example of that would be all of our K through 2 foundational literacy in math, early literacy skills and math skills. You'll also see responsive restorative practices across the entire district. It is in different places, similar to Leader in Me, but again, it's about meeting every school community where they are. At the elementary, we've gotten a really strong start. We've been working on it now for 2 years. And we are pushing hard going into this 3rd year with a very big focus with our superintendent's conference days around restorative practices. When you look at professional development for the individual, there are many opportunities and you'll see them throughout our plan. An example of that would be a teacher working on their master's and they can submit credit for that to get credit, service credit for work at the master's level. The next level would be our new educators. You heard me talking about that earlier, our new teachers. We have an extensive program for new teachers. So we have our new teacher orientation, but then we also have monthly meetings. The principals have a monthly meeting that they do in connection with our monthly meetings. We oversee the mentors and making sure the mentors have the professional development they need. We have a mentor coordinator that my office works very closely with to make sure that we are responsive to the teachers in front of us, their needs in the moment, and all those leadership sessions. Then we have state and federal requirements, of course. Wouldn't be New York State if we didn't have those. So state and federal requirements, you'll see the next generation learning standards, as I spoke with Mr. Rebinol about, and then the APPR. Remember, that's our teacher evaluation process. It is changing to something called STEPS. And we have a window of about 7 years now to change it over. Our goal is to renegotiate it and have it up and running by the end of the year for next year. So that team that you saw at the beginning, we have already reshuffled, asked for new members on that team, and that's the team that's going to write that new STEPS plan. We are going to be one of the first districts to engage in that work. A couple started last year, and there's very few who are jumping in this early, but we are ready to go. The right to know, all the work that we do with the videos that teachers have to do to open up, or staff has to do to open up the school year, that falls into the professional learning plan, as well as things that we have to do to make sure we have chemical safety with our science classes and so on. Now, I said I was going to unpack our 6. And we're going to jump right into the first one, intentionally designing structures, activities to cultivate connection, build leadership, and promote student well-being, which creates a strong sense of community. So this ties to the high-level example here would be the strategic plan goal 3, whole child. Here you have the trauma-informed, sensitive practices, restorative practices. Remember, we said that was a district-wide focus. That is heavy in this work of goal 3. And our Leader in Me focus, well, that is, you'll see that there's many connections with Leader in Me, because there's the leadership side, there's the social emotional side, there's the instructional side. And when you are performing at a high level like our schools are, you see it at all levels. And so you could make several connections with Leader in Me, but we place it here. The next one is foster a culture of inclusion and care, where every Sweet Home community member feels supported and experiences a strong sense of belonging. So here we connect to all 3 goals, the teaching and learning, future focused, and whole child, multi-tiered systems of supports. We have been deeply focused in on this now we're going into year 3. We did a lot of work the first year of our strategic plan of analyzing where we were and identifying the structures we would like to put in place to support MTSS. We made those identifications, and we got deep into the work last year. Now we are ready to start sprinting. We have our DEI initiatives, culturally responsive practices. Again, this is tied to the required New York State framework of culturally responsive education. And that is linked in on the plan. When you're looking at the plan, I have a link in there to that document. Number 3, one more. Revise the local K-12 curriculum to meet the rigorous needs of next generation learning standards and New York State standards. Of course, UPK provides that foundation. It is so wonderful to see how strong our UPK students are leaving UPK, going into kindergarten, and what they can do right out of the gate at kindergarten that before they had to wait till they got to kindergarten, and then they were accomplishing it. So we've had some wonderful success with our UPK funneling right into that K-12 continuum. And this ties mostly to goals 1 and 2, teaching and learning and future focus. Again, next generation learning standards. You saw the civic readiness component at graduation last year with our students who at the high school earned the seal of civic readiness. That's one component of civic readiness that we have built in to our district offerings. Now you can go. Number 4, build capacity of teachers to utilize focused sets of best practice, professional practices, promoting higher level of learning for all students. Goals 1 and 2, teaching and learning and future focus. Here you see a lot of connections. Some I've mentioned already, our Mentor New Teacher Program, our Professional Learning Committee that is focusing on APPR and STEPS, that new evaluation process, instructional coaching, big picture, which supports our READY program. And we have elements that we can pull from big picture that just support best practices across the district. And then, of course, foundational early literacy and early math. There's been a significant amount of work at looking at our consistency in early literacy and early math. At number 5, revise and implement data analysis cycles, protocols of the state and local assessment data to identify trends in student performances and make instructional adjustments that are responsive to our students' needs. We are always heavy in this work, really receiving some preliminary data back from state results and using that to drive what we do for MTSS. So you have connections to goal 1 and 3 here, teaching and learning and whole child, and a heavy emphasis on multi-tiered systems support. And then number 6, implement the meaningful integration of technology to deepen student engagement and personalize a learning experience. So you all know that one component of our work, just one, was that everyone went into computer-based testing in the last couple of years. And that was a heavy shift for us because it wasn't just, oh, take out your computer and take this assessment. It was, we have to embed this into the daily use of what our students have every day so they're ready for it and they can really shine. So again, here, strategic plan, goals 1 and 2, teaching and learning, future focus, digital citizenship, and instructional coaching cycles. So next slide. So the full plan, it is several pages. You have for you to review. And in the document, there are links to things like the required state framework for the culturally responsive sustaining education, that framework. There are links to the requirements of the professional learning plan. We're required to put certain things into that plan. And so you'll see that link. I will warn you, if you open up that link, it's coming from New York State, so it's not fun to read, but it's all there. It's all there. So you have everything at your fingertips. I will take questions now. And
So I see MTSS is in here a couple of times. Is that elementary, middle, and high school across the board?
so going back to our focus at Leader in Me, every school, every level is at a different place.
Right.
And it looks very different at the secondary level than at the elementary level. So yes, it is a focus that we have at all 3 levels. So the data teams, the SST, student support teams at the high school is the focus there. At the middle school is that focus, but it's also looking at how we monitor and change intervention. We use the same platform at middle school than we do at elementary for that, AIMSweb Plus. Any other questions? Ms.
So I
Jason?
actually pulled out the strategic plan
Yeah.
to see, and it really does align very well. When I looked at the long-term improvement strategy, what is your definition of long-term? Are we talking years? What is, because you know that form is fluid, so I'm just wondering how fluid all of this is going to be as compared to our strategic.
That's a really great question. So going back through our strategic plan, you saw with it being our first plan that emphasized what it did emphasize, there was a lot of focus put on identifying and assessing and taking all kinds of different analysis of where we are, a snapshot of where we were, so that we know where to go next. So this whole first 3 years, this is the end, this is the 3rd year. We are looking to reset it going into the next 3 years. And we're at a place now where we have all the foundation laid with the strategic plan. And now we're ready to shift into, okay, so what comes out of all these things we identified? What are the benchmarks we need to be hitting each year? So that's going to be the work of the committee, the DEI committee, this upcoming year. And so those long-term plans, because they are big plans that really hone in on major moves across the district, they take some time. You think about the elementary schools, they'll tell you, we didn't become Lighthouse School overnight, right? It took many years of us. Willow Ridge will tell you, they started off with just a book circle many years ago. And look where they are now. And so it's that peeling away, taking step by step, but making sure there's a benchmark. So with our next plan, the goal would be those benchmarks laid out very clearly.
So you're thinking long-term meaning years?
Years.
Years.
So, 6 to 10 years,
Thank you.
Can you talk a little bit more about benchmarks and progress? Are you tracking this as over the last 3 years or 2 years? Where are you with that?
Yes. So
How are you measuring some of these things that are kind of nebulous? I'll use that word.
yes.
So
We are very much tracking each of the goals. And so we shared some of our tracking or high-level versions of our tracking documents back in June. But we have, as a department, a very detailed step-by-step, this is what's going on. Here's the feedback from this particular stakeholder group. Here's the feedback from that particular stakeholder group. Here's the recommendation we would make to the committee to adjust the plan because we thought we would end up one place and we ended up another place. So we have a very detailed document that we hone in on about their quarterly checks. And you saw the final check, the high level one, in which we were able to say what was completed, what was in process, and where are we going on to the next step. And so, yes, we continue to track those and we'll be able to give another presentation on that for this first half of the year.
at the end of the day, we're trying to improve student learning, right?
Yes.
So are we measuring any progress overall? Are they proficiency rates? Are we-
Absolutely. Yes.
Oh, well,
So that, and
okay.
so when you,
Are we progressing?
so
Progressing.
So when you look at our strategic plan, you see that there's a column of outcomes. And in the outcomes, there's a connection to student attendance, graduation rate, performance on 3 through 8. And so all of that gets pulled into the conversation.
Okay. Thank you.
That was that meeting that we had, I think, at the high school,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
And you brought up all the graphs and everything.
yes.
Um,
Dr. Kozakowski and I presented.
June,
Yeah,
Could be June.
maybe, like it was end of the school year.
yes.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, the committee, they take it very serious. We go through every line. And we track the changes. And so that particular committee went back through, made sure that the language was very clear, that we made sure that we were responding to what new teachers needed in the new plan. When you look at our professional learning plan, it literally lays out by the date the things that we have planned out for the science department, for the social studies department, for elementary schools. And so it's a year's long worth of work and then going into the summer. And then we wrap it up with title funding. So we always have to wait for where we go with title funding because there's a portion of the plan that is supported by title funds.
All right. Thank you, Dr.
All
Wilson.
right, thank you.
At our last meeting, as you know, the board green lighted our next major capital project. We're here to announce, and I know I floated this date with you, that that capital project vote will be on December 16th, 2025. That'll be a Tuesday night. We're going to move the board meeting that was supposed to take place that night to December 15th. So we'll have another night to really pitch it to our public as well. But wanted to announce tonight that we are officially moving on December 16th, 2025 for the next capital project vote, which will be two propositions that are both we're very excited about. So Proposition A for 55.2 million is a tax neutral proposition. It includes but not limited to additions at Maplemere, Glendale, and Heritage Heights. BCS end of life items. There are maintenance items that need to take place. New roof at the middle school, upgraded playgrounds and parking lots at several locations, upgraded playgrounds at all of our elementary buildings, parking lots at several locations. Elementary library upgrades, We're going to move the Ready Academy to district office and district office to Dexter Terrace. We were there today. They are excited about this potential, and to have the resources at the high school available to them will be excellent for programming and for our kids that are over there. And then electrical upgrades at the transportation center as well. Proposition B is for 35.3 million. And that would come with a potential tax impact of $64 per 250,000 assessed, or 2.61% tax increases. And if approved by our voters, that would include elementary school renovations to halls, gyms, and classrooms, paint, flooring. The gym upgrades are essential. As you know, some of our elementary gyms are original. That would come with also a turf replacement, which that's at end of life. We would turf baseball and softball, new lighting for baseball and softball, and a new track at the high school in Heritage Heights. It also would include a ticket booth, walkways in the back, lighting at the tennis courts. Very comprehensive plan and transformational for our district. So we are working on communications now, but these are two propositions we'll present to our public. Proposition A must pass for Proposition B to move forward. We cannot do Proposition B, even if the taxpayers approve it, unless they approve Proposition A. So Proposition A are the items identified by our community to address spacing issues at our elementary buildings, to address modernizing our elementary buildings at the libraries especially, and to address BCS items. So we felt Proposition A is very,
Dr.
very critical.
Genestri, could you just explain to the public what BCS
just gonna
is?
say
'Cause they might
Building
not
condition
know.
survey, so maintenance items that need to get
Right,
done.
and that's done every,
5 years, we do a survey every 5 years. In that survey, our architects tell us what need to be from a maintenance point of view. So the things behind the walls basically need to be replaced or serviced. And so we are hitting in this BCS end of life items that are at the end of life. So HVAC, roofing, some drainage work, those type of items that are in the BCS survey.
I have a question if I could.
Yes, Mr. Rainbow.
So if Proposition 1 or Proposal 1 passes and Proposal 2 does not,
Yep.
if, I asked this question originally, but I'm going to be very specific. If the electric bus stuff that we're proposing in the original proposition there, Proposition 1, goes away, is that something we then can try to pull in something from Prop 2?
So that's a good question. When we talked a little bit about this today at our athletic use committee meeting, Proposition 1, the electrical upgrade is a service upgrade to the service center. And that had a price tag of around, if I remember correctly, about I don't have my stuff in front of me, but about $1.2 million. The turf replacement and the track replacement at the high school was pretty close to about $3 million from that standpoint. So if Proposition A were to go down, or Proposition A were to be approved, and then Proposition B go down, we could do a couple of things. We could look to, depending upon how bids came in, try and sneak those costs into kind of an alternate format from that standpoint, or we could also look to take that piece of it, that track replacement, that turf replacement piece of it, and go back out to vote at a smaller package from that standpoint. So there are ways to kind of work through it, Mr. Rabinold, from that standpoint. But, hopefully we've been very successful and gotten strong support from our community, and I hope that does continue.
Okay, Thank you.
That $64 is not a compounding $64. It doesn't go up $64 every year. It'll be $64 and it will remain $64 on a tax bill. It doesn't compound on each other. So that we want to make that clear, that it's not going to be a $64 increase every year for the term of the bond that we.
Can I stay on that point for a minute? And again, I understand. I think the public knows it now, but again, I'm using rough numbers down. If you can just tell me if Proposition 2 passes, what is that dollar amount per year that's fixed for now for the 20 years that we're funding it?
The debt service number or the tax increase number?
The tax, no,
$64.
no, the debt service. So if you're currently supporting $7 million a year in these building projects, you add this additional building project on top of the tax neutral one, would that raise that to $8 million a year?
I don't know that number. I can find that for you. I don't have it readily available, from that standpoint.
So it becomes part of the budget, permanent budget line every year.
That's correct, but just be mindful that, you know, it all depends again, like in the scenario now, this debt service would hit really in the 27-28 school year.
So
And then it would remain there, the debt would be there, and then the next time that we have debt falling off would be 2031. So we could potentially look at doing potentially another project at that point in time. But in terms of total debt service, Mr. Ravenel, I'm not sure. I can certainly get that for you in advance of the next meeting
Thank you.
from that standpoint.
For clarity, Mr. Feldman, this Proposition A and B, we're working on a project this large because we do have a large sum coming off our debt service.
Well, that is correct. The $55.2 million price tag on Proposition 8 was structured such that that would be a tax neutral piece. So that's the debt service that's falling off. So you won't see your tax bill do this. The tax bill will be more of kind of a straight line from that standpoint. And as I think we reported last time around, when our construction team and our architects were here, you know, when we remember we had to go to state ed to petition to have these additions done. And because our enrollment continues to trend upward, they were supportive of that from that standpoint. And we felt as though, honestly, this is really kind of our only kick at the can in terms of where our enrollment is to get these additions, which we so terribly need at the elementary level, complete from that standpoint.
Thank you.
Sure. And I would just also add to, just for the good of the board, in Proposition A, there is some security enhancements that are kind of the secure entryways, particularly at Dexter Terrace. And then in Proposition B2, one of the things that we're looking to do is swap out door locks in all of the elementary buildings so that there are no keys any longer. It's all done by card. We're doing that now in the high school as part of the Smart Schools investment plan. But we are looking to kind of go essentially keyless. That would help for safety and security reasons. And then lastly, this is Mrs. Jason's favorite piece, I know, but we've started to have conversations with Young and Wright and State Ed. Remember, 2 years ago, we went out on referendum to ask the public to support us to pay for 2 years of an additional lease on the temporary classrooms at Maplemere. Learning cottages, correct. At Maplemere, we have to, there's no way that we can kind of work through this project and get to a point where Maplemere's got the 6 additional classrooms without having that space readily available. So we're looking to extend that time, you know, and we'll likely have to go out to referendum again in May to seek approval because we use funds from the general fund to pay for that lease.
Then we continue getting it 2 years until.
We talked a little bit about it today. Again, we've been able to do this and mitigate through this because they're temporary
Temporary.
classrooms, but we're on year 4 of a temporary situation. I think that if we structure it such that, look, we've been to state ed, they know that this project is coming. I think that we can kind of work through an extension at that point, because we do have to get some variances. Variances for, like, there's no running water in the and we're only allowed a certain amount of time for kids in there. And then there's also another variance about a permanent foundation from that standpoint. So we're going to work through that with state ed, and hopefully they'll be receptive to that, given that this project is on the horizon. So we have started that process going forward. And I don't know in terms of length of time, that probably 2 to 3 year window would be ideal. But I just don't know how receptive they'll be to that.
The last capital project, that was like 5 years ago, right? I believe, was it 5 or 3?
We voted on it in 2019 and we finished work in the summer of 2023.
So I just am asking about like the schedule. It's generally every 5 years. Is that what we've been kind of?
Yeah, give or take. That's probably fair to say.
Okay.
Fair to say.
And I think earlier you mentioned that the debt, this was in a different meeting. It's like 30 years is the term. So I'm just wondering, is the debt that's coming off, is that from 30 years ago?
It's from a project that was done at the middle school in 2022. Completed in 2002.
Okay,
Completed in
2000, yeah,
2000.
okay, so we're looking at 23 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this debt, it would be 20 to 30 year debt.
Correct.
So I guess what I'm trying to get at is that the debt rolling off is in that when we are able to say it's tax neutral, it's not like from 3 years ago or 5 years. I mean, this is like
It's from a significant amount of time
2
ago.
decades ago.
And what I would say is that the debt that's coming off in 2031, the scope of the project, the next project will not be $55.2 million. It'll be significantly less. Because at the time, whatever project we did, and I don't remember what it was, that project wasn't as big in scope. And as such, there's not that much.
Well, I
debt that's
think
fallen
that's
off.
exactly what I'm getting to, is that it really is dependent on where we're falling in this schedule.
Correct.
So if this were to fail, we would not be able to do these upgrades with the next level of debt. Because first of all, costs would likely go up. And secondly, with the debt that's falling off on the next round is going to be a lot smaller than we'd be at a new base then. And I think it's just important for the public to understand that it would be even more challenging to get these things done for the students.
Down the line, and I mean, we're talking, again, just the district in and of itself is 7 buildings plus the service center. So we're never gonna, as much as we try, we're never going to be ahead of the game, particularly with BCS items, building condition survey items. Our buildings are older, they get old, things happen. I just look at the roof at the middle school, and we talked about this today in the athletic project or athletic team meeting. The middle school the roof at the middle school is almost $11 million. And that's just, it's not going to go down from that standpoint. So, we structured it again. I just go back to what I said before. We structured the project such that Proposition A is work that is, mission critical for us in terms of end of life, security, safety, those types of things. Proposition B are things that we would love to be able to do, but there is a tax impact from that. And I'll also add too, the reason that the scope is $55.2 million in Proposition A, we are using $3 million in a capital reserve fund to offset some of the local share tax burden too.
It's very strategic, the timing of this, because I know our thought exchange was 3 years ago and the focus group work was 3 years ago. But we've been telling them then, and we're telling them now, this was We didn't sit on this for 3 years. This is very strategic because of the debt that's falling off to make this piece tax neutral.
I'm sure our public will have some questions. How will you go about talking to?
I'm
the
glad you
public?
asked that question, Mrs. Jason. So very next slide, wow, what a setup. What a setup. So communications plan is critical to this work and getting this approved. So we have met with Young and Right, we've met with campus. Christine's Lyle was in on those meetings. I'm myself, Don, and the team, we have met to put a communications plan together. So the public will be getting a mailer, they'll be seeing posters around the district. We are developing a video, but I should back up one and say we are right now close to unveiling or deciding what our 3 or 4 key messages of the project are. So once those are developed, we will get them out to the group because we want to make sure we're all talking the same language, and we're on the same page. So once we get the key messaging done, it's going to go into all of our communications. So like I said, a mailer, we're doing a video right now. We're shooting drone video today. We shot drone video today for presenting that to our public. We're putting together a high quality presentation for our public. We'll be visiting already. We got some PTO, PTA meetings scheduled, PTSA meetings. We have 2 town halls that we're going to announce very shortly, probably next week, that we'll be conducting as well. And then, of course, social media will be a key piece for this. We met with the athletic use committee today. So just for the fields in the high school, coaches already have students lined up to talk about this, but we're going to have to prep them about what the key messages are as well to get this out there. I know our baseball and softball coaches, I've spoken to them personally, they're very, very excited about this prospect. Our principals are extremely excited at the elementary level because this is work that they know can transform their buildings into 21st century learning centers and provides much, much needed space and relief to some of our service providers in the meetings. As you all know, when you go into our buildings, it's pretty cut up and we're using every space that we can. But we have a complete communications plan ready to roll, and it's all going to center on our key messages. So there will be many opportunities for parents to interact with us, to attend one of these events, or we'll come to them, whatever it'll take to get the message out there and get people to the voting booth on December 16th. Okay, so thank the board for their support last meeting. The level of excitement is extremely high from everybody from district office to all of our administrators. I've started to talk about this at building leadership team meetings as well. And the message is with the teachers is getting out there as well. I put a communication out last week to the faculty and staff regarding this. And the feedback's been nothing but positive because they know it's certainly transformational for everybody in our district. So thank you for your support on that. I know I reported on this last time, but just want to say we are excited to be back. Really, by October 2nd, we'll be back to pre-COVID levels on after-school transportation. We are reaping the benefits of the new schedule, which I'll talk about in a minute. And we're going to have buses at every location for after-school transportation starting on October 2nd. Right now, we have buses at the at the middle and high school for after-school detention. But by October 2nd, we'll have 5 late buses at the high school 5 days a week, 4 at the middle school 5 days a week, 8 elementary buses, 2 per building, 4 days a week, 3 elementary band and orchestra buses starting on September 22nd, and after-school detention buses have already started. So this has been a game changer. People are already, we've been pressed hard over the past 4 years for additional transportation. And I believe the new structure and schedule is allowing us to finally get back to where we wanted to be all along. So I appreciate everybody's patience with it, but it's super exciting time. And I know I reported on this last time, but again, a game changer for us. And then, of course, we started school last Tuesday, a week ago. We've been doing a lot of classroom visits. The opening of school has been a very positive one for us. The transportation piece of it has been quite remarkable. We've had some hiccups, of course, along the way. The first day of school is always a challenging one, but I'm happy to report that very few buses are coming late in the morning. Maybe one or two now. That's it. But it's minutes. It's not 10, 20, 30 minutes. It's 2, 3, 5 minutes. By the time they get out of the high school, all the buses are getting to the middle school on time, which is great. And then they're getting to the elementary buildings on time. So I know Scott Kennedy at the Transportation Center has received a lot of calls, but from my office, I haven't received one, which is a very welcome change regarding transportation in my 4 years in the district.
I know you visited schools, tiers.
Lots, yes, of course.
Kindergarten.
It's
always
been
cute to watch them walking in for the first time.
It's been awesome. And I think the middle school especially, I've gotten a lot of thank yous for the new schedule. The 4 o'clock dismissal was tough, I think, on a lot of people there and families. The 2:30 dismissal has been a welcome change from the feedback that I've received.
Can I ask you where we are with the bus drivers versus the contracted buses? Are we making some progress there?
We're about even from where we were the last time reported, Mr. Ravenel. But what this new schedule has done is been able to free up some of our drivers because the 6 through 12 being on the bus together. The elementary as the last run of the day has been huge.
Made it helpful.
Yeah. And
Dr.
so,
Justin, might I just say something
Of course.
to that respect? Mr. Ravel, to your question, one of the things that Scott and his team worked very, very hard to do is to kind of push. We have a block of runs that we can use with contracted transportation on our bid. So we've tried to kind of restructure how we do things, and we've pushed some of our private and parochial schools that we used to do in-house to the contracted folks. Because that's a set price. That's a set bid price for the whole package. And then what we've worked to do is to take back many of our McKinney-Vento runs for kids that are classified as homeless back into the district. So we've taken back all but 2 of those runs, which will come at a pretty significant cost savings to the district from that standpoint. Now, that said, since the runs were kind of established and bid upon in the summertime and created in the summertime, we have seen an uptick in our McKinney-Vento kids. We've gotten, since the start of school, 6 to 7 more of those kids, which means that it's for every one of those kids, it's an additional run. So it's a chess game more so than anything else, because quite frankly, we only have so many bus drivers to do runs that way. But we are realizing some cost savings by bringing those runs back in-house. Now, if our numbers continue to tick up, we're going to have to look at contracting those out because we just don't have the drivers to do it. We've run into, we're trying to get a little bit more efficient. Scott and his team have been, what we do is when we start in the summertime, I shouldn't say we, because I don't have anything to do with it. What they do, to start the summertime is that they have to route for all 3,800 kids that are in the district. And then we look at ridership over the course of the first couple of weeks, and we start to kind of look at ways that we can be a little bit more efficient, perhaps merge routes, merge buses, and create opportunities for drivers. So right now, we're running very, very tight. We've had, mechanics drive, we've had Scott drive, we've had head bus drivers drive. But I think as we get into, the end of the month, early October, we can start to kind of get a better handle on it and improve that way. It's just those numbers, those McKinney-Vento numbers continue to tick up, which makes it doubly difficult, if that makes sense.
I understand Mr. Kennedy's doing a great job with this. My other question in regards to that is your feeder program. Are you getting anywhere with?
Yeah, we've had a number of aides, and generally kind of the progression is that they come on first as bus aides. We train anybody. There's no cost to train. We put them through the required tests, the required 30-hour test. We help them get their CDL license. So we've had a number of aides that have come in that have kind of progressed to drivers. So
That's
it's
good.
working okay. But again, given the age of many of our kind of the aggregate age of our drivers, it's a constant battle. We've had retirements and trying to keep up with that kind of change in the makeup of the group. But Scott and his team have done a really, really great job. This obviously this fall and with the new start and stop times is a game changer for us. And as Dr. Genestri said, it's going to open up a lot of opportunities for kids for after school stuff that we just haven't had.
Oh, that's good. The McKinney-Vento, are we reimbursed for that somehow? Does that?
That's a
some
good
grant money?
question. We've worked, it depends upon how the kids are classified as McKinney-Vento. If they are placed by Erie County in one of our, when a student is classified as McKinney-Vento, sometimes Erie County does that, and then they place them in a temporary housing situation inside of our district, and then they become our kids, and they're in the district of origin. In that instance, we do get reimbursed through Erie County. Last year, we went through a significant amount of work, and we're able to, we spent close to $1.2 million on McKinney-Vento transportation last year. We were able to recoup we're still waiting on the last quarter, but I think it's going to end up being about $400,000 to $500,000 in reimbursement from Erie County.
Here, thank you.
Can I just ask how the electric buses did? No
You okay?
problems?
Yeah. We actually did a segment with Channel 7 on our electric buses. That went over really well. There were some interesting comments on Facebook about it, but at the end of the day, we're very proud of the plan, and it's been a savings for the district because of the grant money that we're uncovering, whether it's through NYSERDA or the EPA. So, we're spending a little bit less right now on electric busing than we would on diesel because of these grants. Now, we have 4 more coming in the fall, 4 more next year, so we'll be up to 11. And then after that, we're gonna have to lobby for more.
Yeah, they've opened up some other monies through NYSERDA for buses. So I just haven't had the time to read up on it, quite honestly, from that standpoint. But
And the state opened up money too, I think.
that's it. NYSERDA is the state agency that they've opened
Through
it
the
up
governor's-
through. So
The
Have you
governor's
heard the
office too.
timeline we're still staying with that? timeline?
2035 is the time frame. We
Yep.
can file for extensions, but that has to be approved. We can file up to for a 2-year extension based upon kind of where we are. I'm gonna, we have, by the time, this time next year, we'll have on our way to 11 of our 68 buses. So there's the next, and we talked a little bit about this when Young and Wright was here, there's a significant amount of work beyond the service upgrades to the service center. There's a significant amount of infrastructure work that needs to be done. So that's potentially in the next capital improvement project to help us get to that point. And then I have been meeting given the number of buses, we've been meeting with vendors to talk about charge management software to be able to kind of facilitate, rather than charging during peak hours, to be able to charge off hours and save money that way. So that's the next thing that's coming. It's interesting and frustrating in so many ways, but we're working through it.
Thank you.
But we'll continue to operate as if the mandate is happening. And then just a quick update, smartphone implementation has gone well. I think they're collecting about a dozen smartphones a day from some of our violators. But when we're talking about 1,100 kids at the high school, it's been a welcome change. I've talked to a lot of teachers, administrators. The biggest gain that they're seeing is the social interaction students are having with one another once again. I was with Miss Anthon today, and we were at Ready, and they're playing chess and cards during downtime. So
Ship.
it was, what's that?
Battleships.
Battleship, yes. So it's been a welcome change, but I think in the classroom, especially when instruction is taking place, the distraction is gone. The enforcement has been hard at the high school, and I mean, we are enforcing it all the way. We have not given leeway. We wanted to set the tone right away from day one that this was happening, and this was and if you have your phone out, there will be consequences for it. There's been, no change at the middle school. The policy has always been put it in your locker. But the high school, our students have adapted well. They're using their lockers again. The administration put out a video on how to use your locker before school started, which they hadn't used since COVID, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. So we did all of that work. They had many adults scattered around the building opening week to make sure students could get to their lockers and classes on time. And so they're still collecting them. There's still violations, but at the end of the day, we're seeing more social interaction, less distraction in the classroom, and the overall attitude towards it has been very positive from the administration, teachers, and staff. So it's been a great move so far, I would say. A reminder to our fans attending the football game on Friday night. We expect a large crowd. The weather looks fantastic. We will continue with our policies. You must, tickets are free, but you must download one from our site. I sent a note out to families last week. They can get it through our website to get a ticket. Middle school and lower must be accompanied by an adult. No re-entry after you enter the facility. Ticket sales will end 1 hour after kickoff. No bags allowed, only small clutches are allowed, and the measurements are on our website. And then we hope to see you there on Friday night, 7 o'clock versus Clarence. All of the policies are listed on our website on the athletic page. But please, if you are coming, please download a electronic ticket before you come to the gate.
If
Clarence
you're,
notified
if
you,
you're,
so there-
Clarence has been notified. Yes, we found out. We talked to Mr.
if you're electronically challenged or digitally.
You can print one. You can print one.
Okay, you got to get to the site first, right?
Yes.
Is there something at the gate where they'll help people with that?
Yes, yep, we have ticket takers at the gate that will help you. There's a barcode as well, so if you bring your phone with you, scan the barcode,
Self, you know.
and then Mr. Ravenhold, just give me a call. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
And that's all I have for tonight, unless there's any questions.
How's our new SRO?
Great. Yeah, Officer Conrad has been extremely visible, extremely helpful. He's been hitting all the buildings. He's met all the administrators, as many teachers as he can. Just been around the district and very professional, very,
Invite him to one of our meetings. We haven't,
I will.
have you guys
Haven't
met
met
him?
him.
I haven't
That's a
met
great
him.
idea.
Yeah, I met him opening day
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
quickly because he
Yeah.
was on the move.
Yes. So, we're excited to have him. Miss Officer G, she was phenomenal. Officer Arnold will be missed, and she did a lot of work for this district, but Officer Conrad has been a welcome addition too. Yep. Is that all you have?
Okay, and I apologize. I believe I skipped number 5, unfinished business. We do not have any, so my apologies for that. I inadvertently missed that. To round this out, upcoming events. Tomorrow is a big day at the high school. We have the summer school graduation. We also have the high school open house. And then some PTA events, book fairs, picture days are coming up. And then next week is our homecoming week. So that's all coming up. All right, open session. Per board policy 1510, the open session is for topics related to tonight's agenda. Is anyone interested in speaking? I do have one speaker. Do you need me to read the spiel to you? Okay.
Hi, my name is Constance Fiorella. I live at 256 Sunset Court, and I'd like to talk to you about the bus situation. For you saying that the buses are running smooth, that is completely a fallacy. My granddaughter takes the bus. She's been on the bus for an hour and 25 minutes today alone. Is it because she attends a parochial school? Is that why it's being shoved under the rug? Because you're not getting the kickback that you should be getting? I'm not quite sure, but this is ridiculous. There's 10 of you sitting up here. Have any of you decided to go to the bus garage and see what's going on? It's ridiculous. I know there's glitches the first week, but this is the second week. It's been going on. The routes keep getting changed. Every day it's a different route. She's 5 years old. I live in the district. My daughter lives in the district. We pay taxes. To have a 5-year-old on a bus for an hour and 25 minutes when the school is 13 minutes away is ridiculous. They say the bus garage closes at 4. She gets dropped off at 4:15. Absolutely insane. Mr. Genestri, you say you were looking at a drone today. You went to Dexter Terrace and looked at the roof. Have you decided to maybe hop on a bus and see what's going on? Is it because you guys are not getting the kickback? Because that's what it seems like to me. But we're still taxpayers. I've heard all these wonderful stories about how the curriculum is changing, and I'm glad to hear it because I myself and my daughter always went to Williamsville schools and Amherst schools. But the way I saw everything declining, I made sure my grandchildren were going to Catholic school, which we're paying a very substantial amount of money. But what I'm seeing in these buses, for you to say that you weren't called, no one can get a hold of you.
That's not true.
It is true.
No, it's
It is
not.
true.
I reply to
I've called the bus garage. I've tried to get a hold of people. My daughter tries.
Called me.
I've sent emails in the past. It's just ridiculous for you to say everything went without a glitch. I'm surprised your nose didn't grow. There is no way that this bus situation is going smooth like you said. It is not. For a child to be on a bus for an hour and 25 minutes is simply ludicrous. You were talking about safety, which is a wonderful thing. My family is in law enforcement and I am behind that 100%. But to have a 5-year-old child on a bus looping around and taking a different route every day is unheard of. Simply unheard of. And I am here today because my daughter is 8.5 months pregnant and it was too much on her to come today. She was standing in the driveway all week. And the first day they took my granddaughter off the bus, one of the aides, and said, "You're on the wrong bus." And they made her sit there for 45 minutes while we're in the driveway hyperventilating because the bus app kept going off. It's 2025, 1935. The bus app should be up and running properly. Every one of you should be finding out what's going on with these buses, not looking at drones, not worrying about roofs, not worrying about everything. It's ridiculous. Of course we want the fields to be up and running and everything else. But I'll tell you right now, I will go to the news. I will go to everybody there is. I'm retired. I have nothing but time on my hands. And I'm a grandmother, and there is nothing more important than my grandchildren. And I want to make sure she's not driving up and down Sheridan Drive and then down John James and then back on Main Street because they forgot to pick up kids at Catholic Academy. It's terrible. It's simply terrible.
We're now at 4 minutes, just as time.
Thank you, Mr. Leibel.
I mean, give me some answers, please. Look into it. That's all I ask. I'm a taxpayer. My daughter pays taxes. Everybody in my family pays taxes.
Please call me tomorrow and I will look into
I
it.
certainly will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other speakers? Okay,
Just out of curiosity, before we continue, has anyone else received any feedback about busing, like what we just heard? Any
No.
emails, any
No.
phone calls, anything? Okay, so I just want to remind the community that anyone is able to contact
Yeah.
the 10 of us that are sitting here because all of our email addresses are on the website.
That's correct, about 40 times. Yes. Last week, and it's always, I can show you the app to everybody.
Right, but I'm just saying that if there's an issue, like we can't know about it unless someone tells us. So I would just encourage anyone who's listening, if you're having an issue, reach, because I'm not psychic. I'd love to be, but I'm not.
So go through the central office.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
not the
call me.
bus garage.
I will talk to you tomorrow. Perfect.
Okay, moving on. New business. We will be voting on all of these next week. So letter A is special education.
Yep, relatively short, 67 pages and got through it easily.
The first month of the school year.
Oh, I like it, but
The
we're
CSE
still-
meetings will be happening shortly.
But we're still getting new kids in. and
Yes,
New
I know.
evaluations, so that just keeps coming.
Yes, we are.
Monthly financial reports, policy 2140. Any questions, comments? Okay, C, disposal of obsolete property, policy 5250. I believe there are 31 obsolete air purifiers.
That's correct.
Right. D is unassigned fund balance. Okay, E is the professional learning plan, which was presented by Dr. Wilson. Any comments or questions, concerns on that? Okay. E is set prices for school breakfast and lunches. As adult breakfasts are $3.80 and adult lunches are $5.68.
I'm just curious.
Yes.
Are we experiencing food inflation, lunch and breakfast?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just look at $5.68 seems,
Well, remember again, all the kids eat
Bargain,
free,
but-
all the kids eat
Oh,
free
yeah.
from that standpoint.
That's
You
for the
went
adult
school.
But
Students are free.
those are adult prices. So all of our students eat free, both breakfast and lunch. But
okay,
food costs are up significantly, yes.
yeah, okay. Thank you.
Still cheaper than going to Mighty Taco.
Yes. Okay, all right.
Okay, G, overnight field trip request. I believe that is the girls swimming competition in Rochester. H is, or sorry, any questions or comments on that? Okay, H bids policy 5410 for a plow truck.
I'm surprised nobody else would bid on it. That's interesting, but whatever.
Yeah, no, I'm surprised too, but we did put out a bid that replaces a 2017 vehicle that we have a guaranteed trade-in rate with the particular vendor of $40,000, but it is listed on Auctions International that if we get over the $40,000, those proceeds would go towards.
If it doesn't
setting
come up to
price.
40, you can still get the,
We can still get the trade.
awesome. Thanks.
And then letter I, finally, lease of custodial equipment, which is a 60-month lease.
Is that what we've done with our custodial equipment? We've always leased it? It's just,
Yeah, we've leased some in the past, Mr. Rabinold. These are some of the bigger pieces of equipment. One's a floor scrubbing unit that we'll use to kind of maintain our courts outside and those types of things to clean those courts. But generally from a lease perspective, we've leased floor scrubbing equipment before in the past.
are we getting more play on our pickleball courts?
Not for me, but I don't know about anybody else.
We have pickleball courts? We do, don't we?
The town of Amherst has a pickleball court over on Willow Ridge. That's not the district's, but,
Okay,
so.
I'm just, okay, thank you.
Okay, moving on. Informational items we will do next week. Open session number 2. Remember, you have 3 minutes. Please state your name, address, and relationship to Sweet Home.
I will not take 3 minutes, but
Okay, thank you.
I am Jamie Mancine. I live at 276 Glenhaven. And I am here to talk about Glendale PTA, but I do want to, as a point of information, also share we are also struggling with the busing. I've followed up with the transportation department. I'll give you a call tomorrow, Dr. Genestri as well. But my son was on a bus for 3 hours today. Now he is in special services, so he gets bused third party. So, I mean, I think that might have something to do with it, but
Give me a call.
yeah, over the
Okay.
course of a few days, it's been a little rough.
Okay.
I'm trying to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, the first week hiccups, things like that, but I'll certainly share my experience with you. But the fun things, PTA, I'm so sorry that our Welcome Back Bash got rained out, but no fear, we have plenty of fun things going on. The rest of the year, we do have our chicken dinner coming up for our open house on the 18th. We also have our McTeacher, our first of 2 McTeacher nights on the 2nd of October. And I encourage you to come out. Just so that you wouldn't forget, I brought you all a magnet with all of the events that the Glendale PTA will be putting on, so you will never forget.
Oh, awesome.
Whatever you need, and we would love to see you there. Thank you.
Can I share it with Heritage Heights?
Thank
Take a hint, maybe?
That is cool.
This is a nice
Yeah,
idea.
put it right
Yeah, that's a good idea. So the way I
Awesome.
forget stuff.
Forget
Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
much.
Got
Thanks,
some
Jamie.
enthusiasm
Thank you.
there.
Holy mackerel.
So that's good.
Okay, any other takers?
Two, yeah, we got enough.
Okay, moving on, 11,
great
personnel. We'll be voting on the personnel appointments next week. We have teacher and administrative. And, in some interscholastic activities, appointments, tenures. And then we have service, some resignations and appointments and transfers, leave of absence and reinstatement of leave. Any questions, comments, concerns on, personnel?
Just one comment, as I rolled through the almost 300 pages of these, it was interesting to see the qualifications of a lot of the people that are coming in. And it's like, as I'm looking, it's like we got some very well qualified people stepping into a lot of roles for us here. So it was cool.
Anything else? Okay, moving on, that would be adjournment. May I have a motion and second to adjourn the meeting? We had our executive session beforehand.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.